So last we left off, you guys met with the Coven of Hags in the forest, and they did prove that they do in fact have Demir's mother as a hostage in sort of a Sleeping Beauty style sort of situation, where she seems to be resting and surrounded by roses. Um, Guys explored their house a little bit. Thankfully, not touching anything you weren't supposed to touch. It was a close call, a bit, but the hags would have been upset. But nevertheless, they told you that they wished for you guys to gather some ingredients for them, including a feather from an undead phoenix's wing, the tooth of a white dragon that breathes fire, and a hair from the Witch Queen. Lish knows that the Witch Queen is an archfey in the Feywild, but you guys didn't really know where to start for the other two items. So you went to Opius to do a little bit of research at Varhas's library. It was there that I believe Tobias had found some information about an ancient phoenix that had been corrupted by a lich a long time ago. And upon the defeat of this lich, the phoenix was banished to the Shadowfell. It was about then that a stranger arrived at the library offering you guys some dreams to taste. A stranger who happened to recognize Lish. And you guys decided to chat a little bit more about what's going on in the situation after trying the dreams, of course. And you now find yourselves at the tavern/inn called the Red Cap's Rest.
I wanted to quickly hop on and say, as like before we got to the Red Caps Inn, as we were leaving Varhas's to like get there, did we see the lemonade? Did we see the drink stand on the way out? That was the really bad drink stand.
You do indeed. Anne, do you want to describe what your drink stand looks like?
Yeah, so what the party doesn't know is that Septimus there was a lemonade stand there, and so, but it was run by children, and so Septimus kind of scared the children away and crossed out lemonade and wrote dreams, and so as we're passing it, there's some very pissed off children are walking back to their lemonade stand. And she's just waving back at them. She gives them a couple of coins because she feels bad she was able to sell a little bit of her dreams to a couple of people. So she goes, here's your share. Like, gives them a couple of coins.
Took over some random kid's lemonade stand and then just like kick them out of their like shop.
Yeah, she goes, I'm sorry, there was a deer, but the deer's gone. They're gone. Sorry, here's some coin. Did you have a nice walk in the woods? I mean, you guys are pretty young, but look, I hustled some stuff for you. Oh wow, let's keep going to that inn, guys. We're gonna go to that inn.
Flash forward.
my god.
All right, so the items for sale at the inn for dinner. There's a roast lamb and cheese, 4 tenderloin, baked goose breast, grilled salmon, and a shellfish platter.
Do they have any elvish wine or anything that is good for drinking?
I mean, they have all sorts of wines and whatnot. They have a nice the clary wine, which is a frankly kind of generic wine, but it's sweetened with honey. There's a more rare wine called blood wine available. And then there's various liquors and
What
ale.
is the blue wine? What is the blue wine?
Blood wine.
Blood wine. Oh, never mind.
Said to be made from grapes grown over battlefields.
Huh. Interesting. No, I don't think I'll go with it. Do they have any like Elverquias or?
Let's see. They do have some Elverquest.
Cool. I'm going to pick up a bottle.
Awesome. 112 gold pieces.
Oh, Jesus. Sure. Yep, I'm taking it. And then I'm bringing the bottle back to the table for me.
All right.
This is my bottle now.
And it's gonna be like, ooh, shellfish. And he'll get a serving of that.
Cool. Let's see. That would be 3 gold pieces, Aaron.
Got it.
Exceedingly expensive clams for a town next to a lake. Rather a town, but so far inland.
They have mastered the art of fast shipping their seafood.
Isn't there a lake on Opius?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there'd be shellfish in it.
Oysters in a lake?
Are there not crawfish in lakes?
That's fair.
Crawfish and oysters are not the same.
I didn't say they're oysters. It said shellfish.
I don't think lobsters are shellfish, are they? I don't know these things.
I would say so. Get some meat for the table.
All right. Let's see.
Tobias will order the. You said one of the things had goose in it.
Yeah, there's a baked goose breast.
Yeah, Tobias will go for that.
All right, 5 silver pieces.
Nice.
Lish, were you going for the boar tenderloin?
Yeah, but he'll ask for it to be cooked very rare and then not seasoned.
All right, 5 silver pieces.
Yeah. And kind of as we're getting food out, Lish will pull his notebook out and kind of start looking through some of these notes that they have on these 3 different objects. And he'll just like write down a little bit of what he knows about the Witch King and share it with the table, I guess. She's a
The
fae.
Witch Queen.
She's the Witch Queen, yeah. Like, she's usually over by the fall court. She's pretty all right.
So, would you know how to get to her? If we get to the
Well,
Feywild.
if we head into fall, we could potentially talk to the king, see if he knows quite exactly where she is. I assume, DM, that she like moves around a bit, or does she like have a place?
I mean, she's generally more of a private individual. She would probably have a base of operations where she does whatever it is that she does. But she is, based on what you know of her, does seem the type to decide to travel and whatnot. Should she need anything special from a different part of the Feywild.
Sure, sure. Well, she is mostly in one place. I don't think that I've ever visited her, as far as my memory strikes me, but the fall court would have eyes.
Are the
Well, we
courts
need-
very close to each other?
Depends on the day.
So they move around and not necessarily separated like our seasons.
Define move around.
Well, you said depends on the day.
I suppose define a day. Turn a phrase, you know?
I'm not
Well,
sure I do.
Finding her, I think, will be less of the problem. I think perhaps we need to consider what we have that's enough to offer for what she is to give. Anybody have anything worthwhile on them?
I have my pipe, but I'm not very keen on. Is she's going to be asking for something super important from us or important from us in return?
Need a lock of her hair.
Oh,
Perhaps she'll also be interested in the undead phoenix feather.
It's true. If we're going to fight it once, you could probably get more than one feather.
Yeah, we should stock up. Those things are probably valuable.
That's a good point.
Wouldn't hurt to have a backup or two, though. Remembering our own encounters with hags mostly. Perhaps it doesn't need to be something that's valuable in general, but valuable to us.
I suppose I can always offer my smut collection.
Puck does actually sort of make like a snort noise.
I mean, I suppose if it is at that much value to you. I certainly won't stop you from offering it. Demir is drinking straight from her bottle, by the way.
I'm kind of eyeing Debir with like puppy eyes. Care to? Could I have a glass? Just a little bit.
Oh, there's wine at the bar if you want more.
She's gonna kind of sulk over to the bar. Could I have a glass of whatever she's drinking? And I point to Demir.
Do you want just a glass or do you want a bottle?
Glass, please. I'm not filthy rich.
Okay. That would be 56 gold pieces.
To DM, did we settle on how much money I have? Because I don't know.
You have about 26 gold pieces.
I'm gonna frown at the bartender. So anything cheaper?
Aaron's gonna come up behind her. And he's going to ask the bartender for 2 glasses of milk. And then say to Miss, want me to buy you a drink?
Oh, thanks, friend. I'd much appreciate that.
Aaron, a total of 4 copper pieces for 2 cups of milk.
Alrighty. And then he'll front the fucking 50 that Septimus is asking for.
56
Oh
for
gosh.
a
Yep.
glass of
Jeez.
Elverquid.
Aaron,
He's ponying it up.
It's a rare and expensive liquor distilled from sunlight and rare berries. Rarely exported.
On second thought, you really don't need to pay. It's so expensive. Like,
oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. To new friendships. And he'll smile, and then he will walk back to the table holding his 2 milks.
Just gonna gawk at this man.
But when he gets back, he's going to slide the second cup of milk Lish's way. The pixies.
Yeah, then the pixies fucking swarm you like a gang of rabid animals. going for the goods.
Septimus will take her drink and continue onto the table. So how did you all meet?
Woke
Well,
up in the fields
technically-
together.
Technically, this is our second time meeting each other, but that's a complicated story.
Second time. I mean, wait. So you just met each other one day and were like, hey, buddies, let's go travel together.
The second time, yes.
Okay. She's just gonna look confused.
I mean, I didn't trust any of you at first.
That's to say the least.
But we worked off on each other, I think.
Honestly, I think that was a smarter idea for you, Aaron.
So what do you guys do for fun around here?
Falk
Around
makes
here.
a face that you just cannot parse.
I guess she's looking specifically at Demir now.
Well, that depends on what you mean by fun. And around
Drinking.
here.
Drinking, dancing. Come now. Just like in the courts. That was like the best part of it. It's the drinking, the dancing, the partying. You don't do any of that now?
Well, I mean,
Not for
there's
lack of
plenty of that to
trying.
be found.
I mean, you're engaged. Is she engaged to List or married to Lish? I'm asking
Married.
Avery.
Oh,
Married.
she's married.
You're married to Lish. He's kind of a party animal, yeah?
I found him to be.
Aaron looks a little and says, "Is dancing on the table?"
Dancing on the table, I'd consider that to be a party behavior or fun behavior, but only after a couple of drinks will I get that way.
Not sure I can front a couple of drinks.
Oh, no. This is just fine. Thank you. And I hold my glass up and I go, to new friends.
Aaron will clink it with his fucking milk.
Hawk grabs a glass of water off the table and uses that, and then puts it back down.
Some like flower vase.
Oh no, there's probably glasses of water out there.
Base? Is that what you're saying?
No.
So
Demir very specifically does not clink her little bottle anywhere. She just keeps sipping it. But she'll offer the bottleneck to Lish.
So when do we leave?
Well, I think we're resting here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so do you think you have means? Demir is going to look over at Septimus. You have means of getting us into the Shadowfell.
I do. Yes, I do.
Can we go to a specific place, or does it just randomly drop us somewhere?
DM, do I know that?
Likely it would drop you somewhere on the plane.
I don't have much control over where it will drop us. I just know that it will drop us on the plane, so we'll have to plan accordingly.
And we have a Fey hole that we don't know where it goes either.
Mm.
So, one way or another, it's a guess.
Yes, have you been following any of the politics that have been going on in the Feywild?
I can't say we've had much contact, just any of us.
It's been a bit hard to get across plains lately.
Hmm.
Yet you seem to have had an easy time of it. How lucky for you.
Yes, she raises her hand, the glass. Lucky. And offers Demir a little smirk. I'm eager to get to know each and every one of you, especially you, sir. And she eyes Lish. I want to know everything you've been up to the last couple of years. We have so much to catch up on.
Lish just kind of takes a long sip of his wine. Says, I'm certain you would like to.
You mentioned politics, though. Do you have any particular news to share? Since it's been a while since we've heard anything. What have you heard?
Are you familiar with the Winter Queen at all?
Unfortunately.
Hawk sort of just like pointedly looks a little bit away.
I noticed that immediately, and I'm looking at you very suspicious. Maybe we can talk about this more in private, Demir.
I'm sure that everything that you have to say can be said in front of everyone. It's just court politics, after all.
Mm-hmm. The Queen of Winter has been pushing her borders on other territories as a Hold on, I have to consult my notes. She's been pushing her borders on other territories. We've been cracking down on her, but she keeps expanding those borders and pushing them into further places. I was just curious if you'd heard anything about this, or even who she is as a person and what her motives are.
When Lish hears that the borders have been being pushed, he just kind of fucking laughs, like, ha! And like kind of slaps the table. He fucking knew it. Like, this bitch couldn't help herself. My God, of course she couldn't. It's like, way to be the most stereotypical thing.
Oh yeah, no, Winter Queen pushing borders. I absolutely agree. But do you know anything about her? Because the other courts don't know much.
Her name is Viola.
Hold on, I want to roll an insight check on Demir. 1 second.
You'll be doing that a lot.
Welcome to the rest of your game.
And failing it a lot.
Demir, you can roll a persuasion check.
Hold on. Oh, pulling out my dice, guys. First roll of the game.
Hey.
Let's see. Where's my sheets? Perception.
I rolled very low for Demir.
Okay, all right. I rolled a non-natural 20. Is she telling the truth? Avery, are you telling the truth?
As far as you can tell, she is being fully truthful.
Okay, her name is Viola.
Her name is Viola. She is a servant of Auril. For a while, we thought we understood why she did what she did, but less certain now.
Any
I
leads?
think she was more of a vulture than an opportunist.
And, well, interesting. Does she talk much with any of the other courts? DM, would the Winter Queen be talking to anybody in the Summer Court? I feel like my character would know that.
She hasn't made contact since Titania sent her very clear message.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all I know about the court politics, but I am curious about this person, especially since Titania put her foot down. She's been quiet ever since.
Lish kind of leans forward at that, like, what do you mean by that?
She set, I believe this is right, Avery. She set fire to the Winter Court, or yeah, Titania set fire to the Winter Court.
What?
Just
all of it?
No, not all of it. Just on the parts that were reaching into her territory. That's why I'm so curious as to who this person is. It seems like you only know the name.
Melted away all of the snow that was reaching where it should not have been reaching, and then a little bit further beyond the borders to make a point.
I'm not even opposed as to her doing that. I think that she was absolutely in the right.
Lish seems... He was glad to hear about it being pushed back to the borders, but when he hears that it was pushed a little bit farther back, he's a little bit less certain about that.
No harm, no foul, no death, just enforcing points. Politics is politics.
Do you think that the opinion you
say...
hold is a common opinion?
What did you say?
Do you think that the opinion you hold about it is a common opinion?
I honestly haven't been poking my head into the other courts to listen to what their opinions are. Everyone else has been kind of quiet on the matter.
So
As
it's
far
only
as I know.
Tanya putting up a resistance.
As far as I know.
Hmm. Well,
Well,
unfortunately, we don't have much more insight than you do, then.
She shrugs and goes back to her wine.
For Titania to have made such a move, it must have been quite a significant amount of border pushing.
Well, yeah, and
The summer court and the winter court share the least amount of border. So for it to piss her off.
They do have some sort of adjacency similar to the seasons, then.
yeah.
More or less.
Winter's next to spring and fall, which are next to summer.
Yes, in a way.
Okay. All right. I think that's as much understanding as I'll get until I see it for myself, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I don't know the most about politics in that realm, but it sounds like things are on the verge of much greater conflict.
I'm not sure if I'd say it's on much greater conflict.
If it continues to be pushed this way.
I doubt that Viola will stop.
I'm just happy to be outside of the courts for now.
You and every other Fae we've met so far.
Disagree?
Most of
Yeah.
every other Fae.
Yeah, the Fae that's literally traveling with us would beg to disagree there, Hawk.
Yeah, and at that point she's gonna turn to Lish and say, so speaking of fleeing territories, shouldn't you be ruling in the court? What brings you here?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Oh, don't you know, he just randomly ceded all of his territory over to Fiola and decided to come over this side. Obviously.
She takes she lights her pipe and she takes a little huff and she goes, I cannot tell if you're being sarcastic or not, Demir.
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
They're on their honeymoon after all. They decided to take it in the material plane.
She is a keeper of the land, and unfortunately, it turns out that she is a very poor keeper of the land.
Demir?
Is Demir keeper of the land?
I'm confused as to, I'm talking to Kenzie. Who are you talking about? The Winter
Viola.
Queen or? Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm gonna redact that. Yes, clearly.
You know, ideally, the problem would clean itself up if she decides to shoot herself in the foot and cause a war. But
well, maybe she's just unexperienced or possessed. I don't know.
Maybe both.
It seems like a very brash move, is what I'm saying. It as you want. I assume Paul, because I don't know, guys. I assume politics have there been any recent wars within the Feywild, Avery?
Not for a long time.
Not really. I mean, there have been various squabbles and battles every now and then, and people allowing their pride to get in the way of how to best put this, alliances.
Okay.
But there haven't been any major wars in a long time. The Feywild it tries not to have like full-scale battles. That's not to say that Titania isn't prepared for something like that, but in the Feywild, people tend to prefer pettiness and passive aggression to, I'm gonna take my sword and stab you now.
Okay. Fair.
Dick measuring duels that are mostly just riposte.
You have wronged me 120 years ago, and I have not forgotten that you did not greet me properly when I walked past you on this day.
It's like a
it's
Shakespearean battle of
Hamlin.
wits, but it lasts 200 millennia.
Yep. I catch your vibe.
The longest held grudges.
As I said, everyone's pretty petty in the Feywild.
Well, that is fun. I still think we should try the Fey hole. But
The Fey hole.
yes, we have a hole into the Feywild.
Which part of the Feywild?
That's the fun of it. We don't know.
Ah, that is fun.
Assume it's somewhere in the Winter Court, but we don't have any actual confirmation.
Oh, so we're really gonna piss this lady off, is what you're saying.
We're going to do that eventually either way.
Ah,
It's been in our plans for a while now, I would say.
Considering that this Fey hole came from Fiola in the first place, I don't know that we'll piss her off that egregiously.
Oh.
It was a gift after all.
Oh, so you have met her.
She was part of my court. Is part of my court.
Will no longer be part of your court.
Once I kill her. No.
Did you leave her in charge?
In a way.
Technically speaking.
In a sense, yes.
When
Anyway,
I left, she was put in charge.
Valk at this point stands up, kind of. I still vote we either hit the Phoenix or the Dragon first, in case if we can use duplicates of those items for negotiations. At which point she waddles over to the bar, gets 2 jugs of mead, puts them on the table, and gets to work.
I like this person's thinking. It's been forever since I've had a party.
Is that what we're doing? We're going to drink until we're silly?
Why not? We're going into a stressful place tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Do what you like.
yesterday.
That explains so much.
Tobias will say, do what you like. I will just be here. And just kind of lifts his own glass of water.
Aaron lifts his glass of milk and clinks Toby's.
Warhawk, once again, grabs the glass of water off the table, clinks it, and puts it back down.
Tobias will occasionally take sips of Hawk's water to make it look like he's actually been drinking it.
No fun, no
And-
fun. How else are you going to prepare for a big battle if there is one?
Septimus, I
Drink.
literally can't drink.
You can't drink. Oh, to each their own. To each their own.
I
You
can't
could-
either. He
you could
shrugs
try
and
out
shrugs.
You could try out the amulet.
I have to tune to that first. It's gonna take a while.
I find that
least I
drinking
think I
does
do.
not much agree with me.
She looks up at Hawk.
Up.
At Tobias, you mean?
Oh, wait, right. Tobias is the tall one.
Tobias
Tobias
is
is
the
tall
walking
boy.
cell tower with
The
the
cell
5G network.
Okay. That's fair.
Aaron will over at Septimus and say, "Do call me though if there's going to be any dancing on tables."
That I will do. I guess we're calling it a night then? Are we retiring? Where are we sleeping? Are we sleeping at the inn? What's going on? What's the room arrangement? Ah,
Well, we can get rooms here, I think. I don't know if you want to share a room or not, but
she smirks at you. Yeah, I'd love to share a room. Or I can have my own. That's fair.
I'm sure that Hawk and Valkyria and Aaron would love to have you in their room. Ours is a little full.
That's fair. Will you guys have me?
That would sounds lovely to me.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to join the misfit room.
Absolutely.
That's one thing to call it. No problem, sir.
What else would you call it, Hawk? Sip.
The misfit.
How about Hawk, Valkyria, and Aaron's room for cool people?
The cool
Ooh, that's a
kids
good
table.
one.
Polishes off Stein, pours this another one.
So it's 8 silver pieces per room.
Okay. Why don't I front the
Um,
cost of this one since I was treated to a lovely glass of wine?
I wouldn't argue with that.
Tobias will pay for his room with Levy, Lish, and Demir.
I mean, we do have party funds.
But
Demir
I'd
will.
like to do something nice for you.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah, sure. When Toby returns to the table, Demir is going to see if she can, sleight of hand, add 8 silver pieces back into his coin purse.
Would I roll to catch that?
And roll perception.
Ooh, that's a natural 20.
Oh no.
Total of 24.
Damn it. Tobias rolled a 19.
Yeah, Demir is going to just slip a gold piece actually from the party fund into his bag.
All right. So you can mark that off from the party fund, Tobias. You don't have to change your coinage at all.
Untrue. It goes up by 2 silver pieces.
No.
I'm confused.
Tobias paid 8, and then Demir put 8 back in his coin pouch.
No, Demir slipped the gold.
I only had 4 silver pieces in the party fund, so.
All right. Rooms are all set up then. Are there any other conversations that you'd like to have this evening?
Once Toby and Lish and Levy are all in a room together and the door is shut, Demir is turning like, are we really trusting that person, Septimus?
Like I said, Lish finds her trustworthy. He knows her. So I'm willing to defer to his judgment. Why are you acting jealous of her?
Not jealous.
You are, though. The moment you walked in, you eyed her up and down like she was a skank.
She's a representative of another court.
And she's one of
fair
Lish's
to
friends.
be suspicious.
No, you just didn't like that she was close with Lish. What I'm saying is you don't have to be concerned. You have us. All three of us. We've sworn an oath to you.
I just don't know if we can trust an outside fae. That's all.
You've never had a problem speaking to other fae before. You're trying to disguise your jealousy or whatever else you're feeling under the guise of her being suspicious.
Maybe a little bit, but I think it's fair to be suspicious. Some
Perhaps, but not
random
this
trollop
much.
comes walking up to him and talks about how much he knows him and how familiar they are with each other.
Tobias just gives her a knowing smile.
Well, Tamir looks over at Lish.
I don't know.
If he looks over to Tobias, Tobias just looks at Lish very pleased. He's like, I'm doing it.
I'm falling around on her bullshit. Hooray!
I will say Levy gives you a thumbs up, Tobias.
Alicia's like crossed his arms and he's like kind of got like a little smirk of a grin. And he's kind of raised his eyebrow at Demir like, oh, is this true? Sort of thing.
What?
He looks so fondly at you.
So maybe a little bit. She's really pretty.
My darling, there is no need to be jealous or protective, although I am so fond of you right now.
Okay. Maybe I was a little unfair to Septimus. I just... They're just always so pretty and perfect. All these fae and courtly likes.
My dear, the last time I saw this woman, she was a child. And you know how I do adore children. How could I ever say no to her when she comes calling back to me, asking for help? You wouldn't expect me to say no.
Ah, so it's like a doting uncle kind of situation.
Lish just kind of shrugs non-committally at that, but
And that's it.
I haven't spent
Yes.
much time with her.
I mean, she certainly clings on your every word.
And yours, my dear.
That's true.
She did seem particularly keen on getting to know you, Danny.
Both of us. Okay. I I suppose I have been quick to judge, and maybe I should reconsider. Zamir looks over at Toby, like, is that the right thing to say?
Tobias nods his head encouragingly and says, "Yes, I do believe that would be beneficial. For your sake, not just ours."
Weren't you always saying that you wanted to get out and meet new people in the Feywild and go and explore? And wouldn't it be nice to actually know some people that are not of my court that you can perhaps trust?
I suppose it would be good to get to know her. If she is going to be involved in other courtly politics, but it seems like she wants out.
Yes, I don't know that we can count on her to stay informed about courtly politics forever.
Mm-mm.
At the very least, it feels like the two of you would get along very well.
I can certainly relate to what she was talking about. All right, well, tomorrow is a new day. I will try to do better. No guarantees.
Everyone has to start somewhere. And I'm proud of you for at least taking the first step.
Well, if it weren't for you backing me into a wall.
Down.
Shut up! Ruining the moment.
Well, what did you think of her, Tobias? What were your thoughts?
I think she's intriguing, potentially a good ally, potentially could become a friend. But beyond that, nothing. She's a person to me. I don't know, I'm kind of lost when it comes to all this Fae politics and things, so it's often better for me to just kind of nod my head and stand back and let the two of you handle it.
Oh, Tobias, I am certain that you will become an expert in your time.
I know I've changed, but I don't know if I've changed that much.
I have all the faith in you.
You might find you to have a knack for it.
Could be. Or you could be like Aaron Sure and just keep an eye out for trouble in the world and not the finer details of politics, I suppose.
think that Septimus would have a, I don't know, way of finding him or contacting him. Now that you bring up Erenshire, he is an ally, isn't he?
Who can say? He is a friend, whether or not he is an ally. You recall Erenshire, don't you, Tobias? He is that soldier that came out in the dreaming from our heads.
Out of character, that memory is gone, homie. It's fucking gone. Who is this man you speak of?
Let me describe him for you, because Tobias probably would remember. 1 second here to pull up proper description. He's sort of a lean, muscular man. Got kind of the frame of a dancer. Rather handsome, with black eyes with an almost forest green shine to them. Short, dark brown hair that thatched, braided, and run through with acorns and bits of leaves. Pointed beard and mustache matching his hair. And his skin is comparable to the color of oak wood. And around the edges of his face, there's a little subtle bark texture that kind of dissolved into his skin. He showed up very briefly in the Plane of Dreams. I believe he was one of the people standing and watching Aaron's grandfather and Demir's father fight.
Demir, like, wait, why would Toby know of him? When did he show up in the dream? Oh, right. I briefly remember that.
Yes. He's the tree man that I spoke with briefly in the dreams, if you recall. He does make quite a statement. I would hope you would remember him.
Lish's other boyfriend.
Well,
Tobias, I'm just gonna play honest. Tobias nods his head, but Lish can see there is no recollection of the event in his eyes.
Oh boy. Lish kind of like scratches his head a little bit, like, okay. Let me see here.
Was part of Lish's court a guard or the head of them?
He's not just a part of my court. He is the head of my guard.
And what was his name? Aaron? No.
Erenshire of the Peak.
Aaron.
I can type it out.
That would be helpful. Yeah.
Of the Peak. You put respect on his name. You call him by his title. He climbed a
Yes, that's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah. He's a pseudo-wudo, but with like a Doug Trio's body.
Incredible. There's a bit more recognition in Tobias's eyes. He says, I don't particularly remember what was discussed during that time, but he does seem more familiar now. So you're saying there might be the potentiality of, if we do see him again, that he may be an ally?
If we could find a way to contact or speak with him, I would be very interested to hear what he thinks about all the goings on, because technically he kind of like rolls his eyes in like a long suffering annoyed way. technically, Aaronshire is pledged to the throne and not specifically to me, which is the problem.
Oh, that is a problem.
So we may have a friendly tie to him, but perhaps not a dutiful tie to him, if you understand.
I do, yes. He's not something that can be effectively relied on, not unless we know exactly where his loyalties lies, whether it's to the throne or if he chose to defect.
I don't know if Aaronshire has it in his vocabulary to defect, but
Then in that
perhaps
case, it would be a tentative kind of ordeal.
perhaps we could at least ask a favor or see if there is not some wiggle room to be found.
I might have a friend still out there. The book
Kinda
we
quirks his
found. Well, the book we found from the Feywilds, The Frozen Man, did mention Xanthe. She might be okay out there. She was a maid of mine, but I liked her. She could possibly help. I don't know.
Yes, there, I think, are several options once we actually get to the Feywild to reach out to.
But first, the Shadowfell, I suppose. Or are we going to try for the dragon? Did we decide that?
I don't think we chose quite between the dragon or the phoenix yet. I am impartial.
Is the Shadowfell like the Feywild in that time is convoluted there?
Should, I don't know, DM, do we know if the Shadowfell is timey-wimey?
Not in the same way that the Feywild is. The Shadowfell is sort of it's the opposite of the Feywild in a lot of ways. Whereas the Feywild can reach into you and change you into something strange and beautiful and mysterious, the Shadowfell can reach into you and help you exaggerate the worst parts of yourself. It's a place more or less of despair, and so sometimes things can move slower there as someone is encouraged to wallow in the depths of despair. Or time can pass on the same way it does on the material plane. So it really depends.
Well, if things slow down there, maybe it's maybe that one is worth trying first. I suppose we're not on a super time sensitive deadline, more that the faster we get this over with, the faster we can get back to dealing with the unraveling of reality.
Yes, the hags really do have the best timing with these things. Does anybody else have any family members that are gonna get held hostage by somebody? I hope not.
I wouldn't care if mine were. It would actually be funny.
You think it would be funny?
Tobias just kind of smiles. Yeah. Maybe then they'd be good for something.
Who's getting kidnapped? Oh. I think the Phoenix might be interesting to go to first, just to knock out a trip to the Shadowfell early.
At the very least, it feels like the Phoenix is the one that we have the most solid info for. Because while we do know, at least, that getting to the Witch Queen in the Feywild, that's going to be tricky, especially if, depending on what, like, method we take to get there. Because if we take the portal, that's going to put us potentially in the Winter Court, just somewhere, which brings a host of problems of Fiola knowing that we're there. And then if we enter in another way, there's potentially other risks involved in having to go from one court to another. When it comes to the dragon, we know that there's the legend of the dragon being in the north, but then that's it. We still don't have like a specific kind of location.
But
at
we
least
have taken down a dragon before. I think we
taken
can
out
do it
two.
again. How hard could it be?
We've done it twice. Because there was that one dragon that came at us while we were flying, and then there was the fucking clockwork dude, Maximus.
Oh,
That's
right.
true.
He was a dragon.
Technicality wise,
how hard can a dragon really be to kill?
It's only like a dragon wearing another dragon's skin, right?
I suppose, I guess I'm not too familiar with, I guess, the anatomy differences between different kinds of dragons. But at the very least, with Shadowfell.
Usually a white dragon is like an ice dragon, correct? So for it to breathe fire is very unusual.
DM, could I make a shit? Would it be a what kind of check would it be? Because Tobias has read. He did have like a couple monster manuals that he read. What would it be? A history check, or would it be? No, it would be. Would it be a survival check?
Pretty sure we picked up a dragon book.
To determine what?
Kind of like what a white dragon is capable of. Like, does it breathe fire? Does it breathe frost?
I would say nature check or arcana check.
Okay. I'm going to do a arcana check because I have +7 to that. But I'm checking my features and traits real quick just to make sure, because let's see. Oh, I forgot I have fucking grim psychometry. That's cool. Uh, what is it? Okay. I was trying to find because I thought I had a one of the feats or one of the things that I had like gave me advantage on specific creatures, but I now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's specifically only for like Fae and undead, I believe. So that wouldn't count. So I'll just do normal Arcana. A 19.
19. So this is what you know about white dragons. They are typically the weakest and most feral of chromatic dragons. But while in comparison to the other types of dragons, they're not smart, but they are clever. In comparison to a lot of humans. They have great memories and would often try to hunt down creatures that cross them in some way, no matter how long it takes. Hunting by smell. They're not as cruel as black dragons and not as ferocious as red, but still competent in combat. And they are typically associated with cold and frost, preferring to make their homes in more Arctic, potentially glacial habitats. You would also know that sometimes they hunt whales.
That's dope. Tobias will relay that information to Lish, Demir, and Levy. So, in terms of fighting power, because we've killed a yellow dragon, we can feasibly have a chance fighting the white dragon. The problem is that it's going to be a lot trickier because we're not just going to be fighting against something that relies on bestial instincts. It'll be like fighting a person, except that person is larger than us and has wings and can breathe fire. Yeah.
Not too different from fighting the clockwork dragon, but perhaps a little bit less mad with rage, mad with wanting to become a giant dragon made out of clockwork, I suppose.
Potentially. I assume it'll probably be a situation that we'll assess it as we go to properly determine how to get the tooth that we need.
I mean, for all we know, we could find a shedded a tooth in their hideout, perhaps. I mean, how good do you think their hygiene is?
There is potential. DM, where was it that the legend said that the white dragon was? Like
Northern Alperin.
Northern Elperin.
Different continent.
Different continent entirely. Okay. That's the other problem, is we have to get to a whole nother continent.
But it is on this plane.
Yeah, that is true.
And Aldrich did say that planar travel is dangerous even with a tuning fork right now.
Yes, I'm not quite looking forward to testing that out.
Maybe the dragon should be our first stop after all.
Start small.
It could
And
be
hope
worth it.
not to get involved in any time shenanigans. It would be a shame to lose a few weeks at this point.
It would, yes.
Well, I guess we can bring it to the group with a more clear understanding of what we are getting into. Put it to a vote. And
Yes, let's do that.
I suppose Septimus can join us. We need all the help we can get. And she seems eager.
I think she'll be useful. And if she can prove herself as such, I think that perhaps her dreams can become reality.
I still think we can use her as bargaining chip. For Titania, at least.
I don't know how much Titania will. I do not know how effective it will be, but we can certainly keep it at back of mind.
I'm not too sure I'm keen about the idea of giving someone up to the people that they don't want to be with.
Her freedom can be a bargaining chip. Not necessarily her servitude, since we can't exactly force that. It's worth considering all the ways of negotiation before we get there.
It remains to be seen. It depends on where in the Feywild we end up. If we end up in the Summer Court, I think perhaps avoiding Titania would be perhaps best, but who knows? Perhaps she would be open to entreatment. And as Lish kind of says that, like, Titania being open to entreatment, he kind of is just like very clearly like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I mean, she is an ally against Fiola. I doubt she wants this incursion to continue. But if you think it best to avoid Titania's notice, I trust your judgment.
Lish kind of looks uncertain at that, as if he can't. He opens his mouth as if to say, yes, this would be the best strategy to avoid Titania, but he can't quite make that come out of his mouth.
It can still be seen. To be seen too. For now, we have a dragon and a phoenix to worry about, and the Fae can come after those two have been taken care of. Samira is going to take another very long draw from her still open bottle, and then she will finally cork it and put it aside and just flop down on the bed like, I think it is best if we just try and get some rest tonight and in the morning we can bring it to the whole group.
Yes, I think that would be wise.
Jameer will turn and give Toby a kiss on his cheek and just... I can't believe you called me out. But it was kind of hot.
You're not the
Anyway.
only one that's been trying to be better. My time with you all, I've learned a lot, and I'm trying to be the man that you all deserve.
You already are.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm starting to finally see that now.
Demir is just going to squish his little cheeks a little bit and give him another kiss. And then she's going to grab Lish by his little ponytail and pull him towards the bed.
What's going on in the party crew room?
Truth or
You
dare?
mean Hawk, Carrier, and Aaron's room for cool people? Good question.
It's hilarious. Y'all having group therapy and planning, whereas Volk and Seps are getting white girl wasted, polishing off the mead that Volk bought.
Yeah, Aaron's just
I'm
out here like chug, 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 chug.
I'm 100% joining in on this.
Aaron rooting from the sidelines.
Yes.
Just like, God, I wish that were me.
Volk finally out of her armor, so she's just doing her sexy girl, dirty adventurer look. Just white girl.
Oh my God, wasted.
What girl wasted?
At one
Yeah,
point,
it's the party room. It's the place to be.
at one point during the partying, Valk sits on, I'm assuming there's the, cuckold chair in the hotel room, and sends Eitri her daily check-in, very slurred.
Oh no.
Oh God.
All right, what do you send to Demir's brother?
Eitri.
2 words,
We
30
got-
characters.
Back to Marhasa, information, items to find, fire, ice, dragon tooth, undead, phoenix, feather, hair of Fey Queen.
3 more words.
What immediately came to my mind is you are cute.
I was gonna say, love
Do
you, bye.
it!
You cutie. There you go.
If Demir knew, she would be just like beyond embarrassed.
All right. Eitri gets back to you pretty quickly. Excuse me for butchering his accent. As I said, I am not feeling well, but he says, it sounds like you are having a good time. Glad you found the information. Thank you. I am flattered. And that's it.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Anyway, back to partying.
All right.
I'll say that.
Aaron,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Aaron is going to send Arls off to the Wild Roses Library and see if Eitree's in there.
Okay. Eitri is not in there at the moment.
And he'll just say, "Ah, darn it," and then drop it.
Okay.
Also, Valk probably slurred that all verbally as opposed to mentally, which you can do with the spell, but
Oh my god.
I'll say that Septimus approaches Aaron at some point and says, "Do you want me to paint for you?" And she holds up her hand, and there's like detailed blue and white flowers just detailed on her arm. She's like, it's ceremonial for me, but if you would like some, I'd be open to it.
Aaron's entire face, like up to the very tips, little pointed ears, just goes like beet red. And he says, "Oh my god, I was wondering if it would be appropriate to ask. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my god, yes."
She claps her hands. Oh, wonderful. All right,
Here.
which arm?
Ooh. Important to say, ooh, probably left, I suppose. I wouldn't want to get messing up if I'm fighting someone.
Of course. And they're hard to
And
mess
then
up, but they do smear.
He'll nod, and then he'll say, "And if I don't know how comfortable you are in working with other materials, but," and he's going to pull out his magic paints.
Oh, wonderful.
But I'm just trying these out
Yes.
there. They're fun. They're special.
I do prefer blue and white as it is traditional, but I can do other colors.
We'll sort through them, and I do believe he has a blue and white pot in there. And he'll say, here. And he is like visibly like vibrating.
And what are you hoping to channel in battle?
I suppose protection. I wanna keep all of my friends safe, and ensure that I don't know, I'm in front of them when something comes for them.
Loyalty, a wise choice. And so she'll hold out Aaron's arm and start to paint. And what comes out is it's very floral, but there's a stag painted within the arm painting that she's doing.
Oh my god.
It takes quite a bit of time, but I get up very early every morning to prepare.
I admire the dedication.
Oh, thank you. We paint in our family for various things.
What do you have on today, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, and if you notice that it's very floral in patterns, a lot of blue and whites, a lot of tulip looking designs. It's kind of looks a lot like Chinese pottery a little bit, where you see that nice blue and white. I might have to drop an image in the chat for an instance, but
Yes.
this is more casual in painting. I'd say that this is more to beauty. There's not much. There was no fights today. I wasn't anticipating anything that way. Beauty and riches. She kind of
Well,
points
seems
out the
to have worked
different
out well for you.
symbols.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
watching
so.
attentively.
And she's just pointing out the various symbols that she's painted on her arm and explaining the lore behind it.
He'll
When
belong, and then anyway, and then she gets through that. He's gonna unbutton his overalls and roll up his shirt and start pointing out the various symbols he's got on him, and
Oh,
what they
wow.
all mean.
Ooh, what symbols do you have, just as curiosity?
Yeah. So he's got two big chest symbols, and he explains that, this one over here, and it has a big axe on it, is the symbol of his father's line, and this one over here, and I think his mom's is an acorn. It's been a while since I've looked at my reference. It's like, and this is the symbol of my mother's line, and down here, he's got a big rose underneath the two of them. So it's, yeah, and I got that when we all started journeying together.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and you can see it currently has a angry scar cutting through it. Um, and then you'll also point out on his back where he's got kind of wing detailing. And then down his arm where he's got a few lines and then a cave pattern on his hand. It's like, yeah, these are emblematic of that. I was supposed to be the next leader of my tribe.
Wow. I didn't know. A leader. Where are you from?
Oh, well, inland's way, way up there, and he's just gonna point. And actually, let me roll it to check because I'm not sure if he knows what direction North is offhand. Or survival, I think that is.
That would be survival, yes.
You're so fortunate to have to travel, Aaron. I'm just getting the
Oh, that
hang.
was a natural 20.
Oh, nice.
He points exactly to where his tribe is.
Is it, since I'm familiar with the Feywild's only DM, would I know any of where Aaron is pointing to?
Directions work differently in the Feywild. He's saying north. That doesn't really mean much to you. For you, there's dawnward or duskward for north and south.
Okay, so, cool.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, in that direction, I guess.
So it's more dawnward, I suppose. You'll have to forgive me. I haven't really been outside of the Feywilds much. I'm so envious of you guys. You actually get to travel.
Yeah. Definitely gotten to see a lot of interesting things I wouldn't have otherwise.
At which point Val kind of joins the conversation and is like, I would say probably the mechanical dragon weirdest, and just kind of flops on the bed and goes, Is it my turn to become pretty?
I can certainly paint for you. Absolutely. Where would you like?
Yes.
Well, you're already pretty.
Yes. Beautiful. Are you just holding that pose? Because she's like...
Valk basically blue screens and is just like, maybe one's molt over.
I think you're a little too toasted, m'lady.
At which point you see one of her little chicken wings do a little out from under her veil.
Right. I can't see what you look like, correct? I just see occasional wings popping out.
Oh, she has a habit basically on with a veil because Her wings are currently unfeathered, although I suppose they're starting to grow back in now. So she has weird little patchy wing finger just sticking out to show you what she means.
I don't think I've ever met a Valkyria, like a Valk. What is it?
ASMR.
An Ace. I don't think I've ever met an ASMR before. So,
You've met two.
Aaron will
He
pop up.
would
Now you've
too,
met
but
two.
I'm weird.
oh, okay, I've met two. Well, yeah, ASMR. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Aaron will look over at her and just like slowly have his eyes go out to their maximum setting to where he's just like blindingly bright.
He has lantern eyes, and I have wings on head and feathers and claws. When she does claws, you can see her nails are very neatly trimmed, but they're solid black. But claws.
Already just a couple of weeks out of the Feywild, and I've met so many interesting folks.
I won't be pretty in armor, so. Gesturing at her neck.
Everybody looks great in armor.
So she is getting temporary neck tattoos to be pretty.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And she's gonna move closer.
Yes.
I envision strength for you. For sure.
I already strong. I want pretty.
Pretty it is.
Yeah.
And she's gonna rifle through her the back. She has a little satchel that she carries alongside her, and she's gonna pull up her satchel, rifle through one of the books that she's carrying with her, pause on a page, look closely at your neck, and start to detail in some tulips and roses.
Can I have more dreams?
If you like.
Yes.
And she looks very hesitant at the potion, the giant vase that she's carrying along with her. It's okay. It's okay. Remember what Titania told you? Confidence. Confidence. Confidence.
Is this from the same batch?
She wouldn't have had a chance to brew any, so yes.
Okay. Let's see.
Are you sure that you want to drink this right now? Because I feel like under different circumstances, I could probably make something a little better.
Yes, but dream now.
Very well. Very well. Confidence, Titania. Confidence. Interior. And breathe in.
Upon hearing you talk about confidence, like, I could do confidence, it slaps you with a heroism.
Whew. Okay. All right. And she pulls out. She's digging through a satchel. She pulls out, I guess, a little cup, and you can see that it's very detailed on the side. It's got that same blue and white patterns to it, and it's pottery that she's crafted herself. And she pours a little bit of the dream solution into it and passes it to you.
Okay.
Aw.
So, just a second. Trying to find something interesting here. And this is being served in pottery that you made.
Correct.
Okay. So, Valk, when you take a sip of this,
You mean guzzle it?
you have a dream that let's see. You have a dream that you are see. You are playing the piano in a tavern somewhere, and you're actually doing pretty well. And someone comes by and gives you a lot of gold for your piano playing.
Cool.
And
It's the feeling of this joy, like you're playing the piano and you're feeling like you're doing pretty well, and then someone gives you another good surprise while this is going on. It's just the essence of that.
But yeah, so you as you're working on painting Valk and she's having this dream, you can just kind of see her just kind of going dee, 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 and just vibing out. Oh, you also don't know, a recent addition to Valk's design is she has 2 tear trails in gold down her face.
Oh, cool.
So you kind of notice that Valk nods off while you're working on her, and like she just starts to slowly cuddle you.
Yeah, she'll take that cuddle. All right. Well, on that note, she's gonna look over at Aaron and go, "Well, it was a pleasure having a good day with you with you guys. I look forward to our travels tomorrow. I'm a little hesitant. I'm gonna break out in the morning, I know." And she's like picking at her, like she's like pointing at her skin. It's like, I didn't have the chance to wash off. Oh well.
Oh.
You hear Valk mutter something in her sleep and just kind of goes hand across face, and she casts his prestidigitation, and you are now clean.
She shrugs. That works. And I think that Septimus will just fall asleep.
Aaron will stay up a little longer. He's taking a watch up there, but he'll eventually nod off.
While Aaron's still awake, Hawk's going to try at probably the first prototype design of the ring Toby more or less commissioned from him.
Ooh. How's it doing?
Good question. I don't think he's started. He's mostly just been drafting at this point, so this is the first time he's actually going to try and put it together.
Aaron's just watching him intently.
I don't think Tinker's Tools actually specifies a stat to use.
That would be a dexterity check.
Okay. Pretty good, those. Test rolls today, and it shows because that's an 11.
I mean, you feel like you're close to something, but it's not quite fitting together the way that you'd like it to.
Yeah, I can sort of like see him like sort of fiddle with it, and can probably hear him mutter like, "No, there's a little more space over there. There's no room for the spring." He sort of just shrugs and stows it somewhere safe in his pack, along with the rest of the materials.
I don't know if Aaron knows what it is he's working on.
Ask.
So I think he'll ask that, yeah. What's the project?
Toby had a pretty ingenious idea to replace the metal spike on his bow. At least he came to me with one. I don't remember if Hawk knows if Valkyria had the idea first.
Tobias mentioned that Valkyria had brought up the idea, and then she also showed him the illusion of like a prototype that she was talking about to him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so with that in mind, he says, Toby came to me with an idea of Valkyria's. to replace the metal spike on his bow, a ring with a razor loaded into it. That way he can sort of
That
covertly.
sounds like Volk.
The idea is that he'll be able to covertly sort of slice a part of his hand open for hemocraft. That way he
Aaron
doesn't
will
need to
nod.
use his bow, per se.
And as he's listening to Hawk say that, he's gonna settle his eyes over to Septimus and make sure that she's sleeping.
I am passed the fuck out.
He'll just, eyes
I
to the
will
side, over to Septimus, eyes back over to Hawk.
I will note that Septimus is an elf, and you don't really need to sleep. You can just kind of meditate for 4 hours, but you can sleep if you want to.
Okay. I choose to sleep because that is my favorite thing to do besides pottery.
All right, just giving that choice.
God, that's iconic.
The two best things in life: pottery and EP. Awesome. I want to make sure I get it right before I try things, though, because I don't want to accidentally slice his finger off altogether.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds like it would not be great for him. So I don't know. And Aaron will shrug, and then he'll say, then he and Ofsi could match.
I'm sorry, what did he say? I actually didn't catch it.
Said, oh, I don't know. And then he shrugged and said, then he and Ofsi would match.
I think I have to take off a bit more than a finger for that.
Maybe that can be the next project.
Maybe not. It's one thing to cut off a finger, but I don't think I want to replace an entire arm. That's a little much even for me, even if I do know how to make another.
And Aaron's gonna start like wiping, just laughter, tears from his eyes, and say, I think I've been partying too much tonight.
Hopefully you won't have trouble getting to bed then.
Yeah, we'll see. And then he's gonna tap his ear, and say, wake me up if she does anything weird. And look side-eyed at Septimus. And then he's gonna go curl up and lay down.
Just sort of kind of like nods. And he spends some time attuning before he enters his sentry's rest.
All right. Is that it for the party room?
Think so.
Everyone's conked out, so.
Cool. Tobias.
As Tobias, Levy, Lish, and Demir all lay down for bed and stuff, Tobias finds himself as he's laying in the center of this group, looking up at the ceiling and looking down at his partners, feeling a deep amount of fondness for them, but an almost startling realization that when he said earlier that he's starting to see what they're saying about him being someone, or him already being a worthy man, that he actually starts to find himself believing it. And for a brief moment, there's a kind of mild fear and panic that goes through him at the idea of, oh God, I don't want to mess this up, before it kind of starts to settle and he reminds himself, we've made it this far. We can keep going. And it leaves him feeling content and a type of whole that he has not felt for a long, long time.
So, on this and where you are and how far you've come, you can feel the emerald necklace that you had acquired from the Turning Spire, with the beautiful glittering emerald set in the silver chain, sort of grow warm a little bit as you come to this realization. It's not a uncomfortable sort of warmth, but it is certainly noticeable. You can see the emerald is starting to shine a little bit more. It's almost glowing in the night of the room. And for a moment, it shimmers, and it's almost as if you can see runes within the gemstone. Before the glow dies down, but it's still just as shiny as it had been before. Let me send you some info.
Perfect music for this.
Thank you.
Holy shit! Wow! Baby boy! Baby boy has become more powerful.
God damn, the power of love.
Wow, Anime was right. Thank you, Sailor Moon. As Tobias watches that kind of like emerald glow and then fade and like feeling its remaining lingering warmth, he kind of reaches a hand up to it and presses it against him a little more. It's comforting.
All right. So, let me switch us back to tavern music now that Toby's had his moment. Assuming I can find it. Okay. Next morning, you all come to consciousness. Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, well, actually, Aaron isn't going to wake up at the same time as everyone else. The people in the party room can see that he's kind of like just really like groaning and like turning over. And it's unclear if he's awake or not.
So apparently the two Azamar are not waking up well. Because Val drank and hung over.
Nice.
I'll say that I would have gotten up really early, or like around 6 in the morning. And I don't know what time you guys are waking.
Tobias and Levy are usually the first two to wake up because they're always early birds. Tobias
Demir, I
especially
think.
up with the dawn.
Yeah, I think Demir probably gets up pretty early this time too. She didn't sleep very well. Like, I mean, she was drunk, so she kind of passed out, but it was very much that, like, when you've drunk too much, and so your body is physically out, but like, yay, rested. So she gets up and she is like very early is going to just sit at the window and using her wand of magic or her wand of flowers, she's just summoning different flowers and is slowly braiding a little flower crown.
Valk tends to go to bed a little earlier and wake up a little later because she's solidly on the 2 sleeps program, because she's always taking a middle of the night watch.
That's valid. Anyways, yeah, but Aaron's just gonna keep on running and rolling over until someone someone makes him do otherwise.
Valk throws a pillow at you, just like, yeah.
Aaron takes the pillow and kind of just like curls up around it.
When Septimus leaves the bed, Valk just goes straight starfish.
Oh my god.
Sorry, chat.
Once
might be in real
Demir
quick.
is done with her flower crown, which probably about the time that like Septimus is moving, Demir will go down to the like main tavern area and order coffee and sit at the table and wait until she can see Septimus come walking down.
Septimus got up really early to wash off the remainder of her paints, and it takes her about an hour and a half to repaint everything back on her body. I'm going to roll really quick, DM, and just call this random. We'll assign the coloring for numbers, if you wouldn't mind. I'll just do that based off of the order you just messaged me.
You don't. That's not something you have to roll for. You get to pick. It can be random if you want, but
I'm gonna roll for it today.
Okay.
So, pink. I think it was blue, pink, yellow, and green. So
That's what I recall.
Okay. So instead of the tattoos appearing blue today, the base paint of her is white, but the markings appear green.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, she'll if Demir's already awake, she's gonna be where is Demir right now?
She's waiting down at the bottom of the tavern, but is keeping her eyes towards the stairs.
Sure. Demir, Septimus comes down the stairs. She's making detailed notes based off of Valk's sleep the previous night, and is detailing that and rifling through her books at the same time while going down the stairs and not really paying much attention.
When Demir sees Septimus coming down, she like kind of sits up a little, but like isn't quite ready to like wave her over, is just kind of like sits up a little, realizes that she's like very much distracted, and then just kind of like goes back to like fiddling like oh God, what's it called? Fidgeting. There we go. Fidgeting with some plant material that she has left over from her little crown adventures. And if Septimus comes over to the table and sits down, Demure kind of turns to her and offers the crown, like, we made flower crowns early on, and since you are going to be traveling with our group, I was a little snappy yesterday, and so I thought today is a new day, and I wanted to set it off on the right foot.
Septimus closes her book, looks down at the flower crown, and is just like wide-eyed, absolutely ecstatic. Oh, my dear, I'm a stranger. You hardly know me. I've known Lish for a long time, but barely in passing. Of course you should be suspicious of me. Now, I'm starving. Have you eaten anything this morning?
No, not yet. I just got coffee.
I'm an early riser. Are you? Clearly from the flower crown.
Not usually. It's been a bit of a stressful time.
She raises her eyebrows at her. How stressful? How?
It's complicated. There is a reason why we are looking for all these dangerous ingredients, and it's not entirely of our own doing.
No. Well, Lishes can be so dodgy. You know how the Fae are. They speak in riddles. It drives me crazy. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to leave the court so badly. I'm gonna order some coffee.
Sure.
You know how you can't get one straight answer out of a Fae? They always have to talk around the bush instead of talking to it.
I would think that for someone born and raised in the Feywild, you'd be accustomed to it.
Of course I am. And it drives me nuts.
Well, I can certainly appreciate that. It was a little frustrating the first time I was there. Everything is alive.
Yeah. It's
which
almost
means everything is watching and listening too.
Yeah, it leaves you a bit paranoid, doesn't it? Or maybe I guess I'm so used to it. It's quite deafening now. She's gonna go over and order a coffee.
Coffee is 5 copper pieces.
Okay.
If Demir turns and looks back to the table where she's sitting next to Tobias or whatever, he's just like giving an enthusiastic thumbs up. He's like, "You're doing good. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing wonderful, sweetie."
Well, I appreciate
Demir
you
just
talking.
kind of like and then gets back to her coffee. Waits for Septimus to return.
Septimus will, if you don't mind, and she takes the flower crown and places it on her head. What colors did you choose for the flower crown?
So there's like they're all kind of white, but there's the apple blossoms have like a kind of pinkish tone to them at the edges, and the freesia have a little bit of like a purple and pink tone. So the white and pink all kind of go together a little. bit, and she's braided them very carefully with like little sprigs of apple leaves between them so that there's a little bit of color variety to break it up and all that stuff. And I didn't realize that you would be green today, but
Ah, I was feeling a more green vibe.
do those change color every day, or is it
Oh,
is it paint?
yes, it's paint. Yeah, and if you were to look at it, it's just paint. And she goes, my family uses paint as an expression. It's how I got into the arts and how I was really turned to pottery as my real passion. And what each color represents is what I am attuned to that day. So, as for blue, yesterday it was winter court themed, and green is for the summer court. With each paint,
Oh,
I have sort of a heightened ability around it.
how fortuitous that you were painted for winter yesterday.
It's kind of random, but yes. Out of all of the colors, I think blue is my favorite.
Have you ever been to the winter court? Or just seen it or heard of it?
Been a couple of times, but really I've been held captive quite. My family is very strict, Demir. I don't know if you have a similar family, but um, it's very traditional. It's very by the book. You are born into the career of your family's choosing, and that is the career that you will have for the rest of your life. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. And
I can
so,
certainly relate to that feeling. It's a lot of pressure on you.
Yes. Well, unlike my siblings, or no, wait, hold on a minute. Only child. Yes, I'm an only child. Sorry, I don't say that out loud.
Wait a minute.
I was pressured into Titania's court to do a very specific job, and it's not of my passion.
Pottery is.
Absolutely. The arts. She waves her hands kind of to her body. What of your family? How did you and Lish meet?
Ran into each other. My family wasn't in the picture at that point.
Oh.
Anyway, it's rather boring, truth be told. Not as adventurous as your escape from the Feywild, it seems, but at some point maybe we can tell the story if we're bored, but for now, if you so choose to adventure with us, we could certainly use your aid, although I cannot guarantee that it won't be unpleasant and dangerous.
But it's an adventure, and I'm all for that. And as for telling me about what's going on with how you and Lish met, I'm very intrigued. But I am a stranger to you, and if that takes time, I'm all ears.
Merely that, I suppose time will tell what gets brought up or not. But, I'm certainly amenable to helping you with your matter as well. I am sure whatever deal you want to make with Lish, I will do my best to help facilitate.
I'm hesitant to make a deal with him. I don't like making deals with Faye. But he does owe me a favor. But yes, any help that you could facilitate would be greatly appreciated.
I will see what I can do. How did you earn a favor from him? If I could ask, I'm just curious.
She grins, takes a sip of her coffee. Well, at a young age, I was fleeing to Tanya's court. I had just come to the terms that I did not want to be a part of it. It was one of my very first attempts to flee. I stumbled upon your husband, she grins, trying to flee. It was at that point that I asked him, before I was caught once more and dragged back to Tanya's court, that I could have a favor. And that favor would be an opportunity for my own freedom. He smiled down at me, being that I was very young at the time, and said that he would owe me a favor and to come and find him at the right time. That right time was several escape attempts later. And finally, Demir, I am free, and I intend to keep it that way.
Well, I wish you the best of luck there. I'm sure he will do his best to fulfill that bargain. Favor.
I trust him. However, I know that court politics are a thing, and I'm hesitant to trust you, Demir. I'm hesitant that you will turn me in order to keep things favorable between your court and Titania's. So I expect you to be upfront if you use me in any way. Agreed.
You are a very smart person, Septimus.
Why, thank you, my dear. And she kind of fiddles with the flower crown.
Also, Volk
Anyway.
appears at this point, trudges past the table, drops
Good morning, Valkyria.
a little salute, drops a bunch of silver on the counter, takes the entire pot of coffee, walks back to the table, sipping directly from the pot, casting prestidigitation to make it cool enough to sip, and just plonks at the table. And
It
just
seems like you all had a very interesting evening in your room.
also, you see Valk also has paint on her neck. What color did you end up doing Valk's neck? I can't remember.
It would have been blue, and it would stay blue based off of the evening before. Yeah.
Okay, so it blew. And she's just sipping coffee and just like, I am here. Booting up
Did
for
all
the
of
day.
you get painted up last night?
I don't think Hawk did.
Oh, that's a shame. He has such a vast amount of canvas to work with. Having no face and all that. You could paint one on, maybe.
Well, that depends. Would you like me to paint you, Hawk? Maybe another night.
Is Hawk there?
Oh yeah, is Hawk there?
There we go. Not yet. He was going to see if Aaron was okay before he came down.
Never mind. I redact it.
Yeah. I mean, the next thing I was going to ask was where is Aaron? But
Yeah.
That's a
so
great opportunity for transition then. And over to Hawk and Aaron.
Yeah,
so
Aaron's
if
just been constantly sort of like tossing and turning. Hawk's gonna
if Hawks
Go ahead.
oh god.
No, go on.
Yeah,
No,
if
you
Hawks,
go.
no, you go. Fox like him. You'll just hear from like within the ball. Aaron's made of himself. Him going like, I won't feel so good.
What do you mean?
And he's gonna roll over and sit up. And I mean, his face is always red. He's got the burn on it. You see now his entire face is red and splotchy. And you can see, one of his arms is beautifully covered, in Septimus did, with little, the vines moving around and having all their magic fun. And the other arm is also red and blotchy. And he says, I feel like shit. And his whole face is swollen.
Oh no.
Is he
Aaron's
allergic to
discovered that he has a
shellfish?
shellfish allergy.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
Septimus is like, is it the paint?
She's downstairs.
Just immediately. Oh, never mind. I don't see it.
this is just Aaron and Hawk right now.
Hawk. It
I
hurts.
don't. So I don't think an allergy is classified as a poison or an affliction. So I don't know if I could use magic to actually sort of do anything.
It would count as a poison in this instance.
Okay. I think I can do something about that then. Just a second. Okay. I can actually. That's perfect. All right. Hawk's just sort of like, okay, let's try something then. He takes one hand, puts it on Aaron's face, takes the other, puts it on his arm. Sort of makes a noise akin to breathing in, since no lungs, and focuses. And there's a small jolt of energy as he expends 5 uses of Leon Hands to cure poison.
Yes.
All I can imagine is just a router sound. Beep, beep, burr, boop, boop, boop.
Aaron he'll be like, oh gosh. Oh my god, thank you, Hawk. And he's just gonna like lean forward and just like bear hug him. Oh my god, thank you so much.
Hug back, pat. I would stay away from shellfish in the future.
Oh, is that a thing that can
That
happen?
is unfortunately a thing. I've seen one of the Marchands break out after peanuts.
Oh geez. Well, I'll keep that in mind. I woke up thinking that Smith might have poisoned me. Oh,
No,
all right.
No, I don't think so.
Well, is everyone else gone?
I think most everyone else is downstairs right now, yeah.
All right, let's go then.
Yep. Sort of
And
like one more pat on the back. Hawk breaks off and grabs his backpack.
And he'll approach the group and wave good morning with his painted hand. So you can see it's got of Septimus's hands put on in his magic paint. So that'll, I guess, like dancing around, and all of the flowers are like shimmering and blooming, and stuff. Says, morning, everyone. Very clearly showing off.
As if
Good
nothing
morning.
happened.
Volk takes the
I love
pot.
this man. He's great.
Yeah, Volk takes the pot she's sipping out of, pours a cup of coffee, and offers it to Aaron.
Yeah, he'll take that.
Well, if everyone is gathered around the table, we're discussing a little bit more our strategy for this whole thing. It is probably better to start with either the dragon or the phoenix, as we established yesterday. So the question is, do we want to stay on this plane and not gamble on planar travel first, or get the first bit of planar travel out of the way? Time can occasionally slow in the Shadowfell, but with everything unraveling as it is, who knows?
Yeah, we haven't had the best luck with time on our own plane for that matter, so
You bring up a good point. So what's our plan after the Shadowfell to begin with? Because we do have a way back to the material plane. Is it reusable?
I believe a tuning fork is as many times as you want.
Okay, that's good then.
aren't we also able to just go to the Shadowfell? Or no, go to the Feywilds after the Shadowfell using the hole?
Yes. In theory, I suppose the Fey hole would work on any plane, so we could use it directly from the Shadowfell to get to the Feywild.
I think whatever we do, the Feywild should be last in case if we get extra materials from either of the missions for potential trade items.
Or if we get caught up in something while we're there, which very well might happen.
Not to mention the fact that the Fey hole did come from Viola.
Mm-hmm.
So it is probably a trap.
It would also give us time to get a potential other route to the Feywild.
Didn't say that you can't choose where the hole will drop us out. Would she even have been able to set that? Is that a
Who's to
magic that
say?
exists?
According to the Arcana checks you guys did previously when inspecting the Fey hole, you know that this is an item that normally would take the user to a random plane. It's probably good for escape. However, this one has been modified so that it will, at least for a little while, take you directly to the Feywild instead of just dropping you somewhere in the multiverse. And she probably can't get it much more specific than that, and especially given that like it's been modified enough as it is.
She's not very good at her job.
But
Oh,
gave it away.
I was also going to say tapestry issues as well.
That's true. Do you think it'd be a better idea to try and enter the Feywild from the material plane then?
Who is
As
to
long-
say? Personally, I think it would be better to start with the dragon, since we've already fought two of them and they're easy, right?
I'm not sure if one of them really counts. But
Which one?
you have a point. I don't know, the one that used to be a human.
Hmm.
He was certainly shaped enough like a dragon.
I'm of the
Shaped, yes.
mentality of that when we fought him, he was dragon shaped. And he turned himself into that. Therefore, he also wanted to stay that way for like ever. So personally, I'm of the belief that he counts.
Yeah, he
He's like
identifies
one of
as a
the
dragon.
he's one of the like exceptions to the rules kind of deal.
As much as I don't want to give Maxon any consolation, I'll let you have this, I guess.
Well, I mean, if it makes us feel any better, he turned himself into a dragon, but now he's still fucking dead, so.
As far as we know.
Didn't he reassemble and poofed?
Yeah, he's definitely still out there.
Whether or not
Well,
he's
he got his
alive or
ass
dead.
kicked, so, you know.
I'm honestly
I'm waiting
least...
for him to come back for another round. I'm certainly ready to beat his ass.
I'm honestly least concerned about the Phoenix because we have 2 Oathsworn in the party.
Do what now?
Paladins. I'm using an in-universe term for paladin. Because
Bob says this in character.
we're both paladins.
Hawk sort of confusedly tilts his head at that.
The Oathsworn?
Yeah.
I sworn to Demir, and you're sworn to... What are you sworn to again? The party protecting us?
That's sort of a matter of perspective. I swore to myself that I would protect whoever I felt needed it. And right
As
now,
I said,
you definitely need that. No, right now, you all and myself definitely need it the most.
so it could protect the entire multiverse.
In a sense, that's the hope.
Septimus will raise her hand. If I could interject, any chance we could really keep the Fey stuff, the Fey Wild, as the last thing that we do for sure? Like, can we just put that on the table? I want to enjoy my freedom for as long as I can have it.
I think that we were already planning on going there last.
As long as that's cleared up.
I'm honestly fine having our deal just encompass dealing with the Phoenix and the dragon, and we can handle the Feywild without you if you're not comfortable with it.
You are a volunteer here. We certainly are not bound to each other in any way, so...
Well,
You
no.
are a free agent if you wish to be, Septimus.
Depending on how things go. Yeah, I might part ways from you before we go into the Feywild. My interests are clearing things up with Titania so that she doesn't continue to pursue me.
Now,
If you guys...
now, you did say that you wanted my help, and I did say that you would need to help us in order to ensure any sort of assistance from me.
Well, yes, and of course I'm here to help Lish.
And
But
we might
surely 2 great battles.
Well, hang on. Was this a binding deal at one point?
No, we did not make a deal over this. I asked you for a favor.
And I said that you could seek me out and we could make an arrangement. And this is the arrangement.
So you want me for all 3 of these? You didn't say that.
I said until we finish these tasks. And there are 3 of them.
I didn't realize.
Here's a thought, and educate me if I'm wrong. Would that arrangement protect Septimus from Titania while it's still in effect?
I'm looking at you, Lish.
I do not believe that Titania would ever hurt you.
Well, I don't mean protect from danger per se, but if she wants to be free, wants to stay away, would she technically be your responsibility while the deal is still in effect?
One might say that you are under contract with us. That would give you an air of protection from other dealings.
Lish, do you vow to say that if you were pressured by Titania?
It is the truth. We have an arrangement. If you agree to the terms that we're setting here.
I agree. I agree as long as you're truthful.
I am always truthful, my dear.
The problem is if it's the whole truth.
The problem is if the problem being I'm hesitant to go back to a place that I spent so much time trying to free myself from.
Your parents cannot snatch you away when you are on task with us. If they did, they would be not holding their own standards, their own morals, their own selves.
Not to mention risking the ire of Lord Vavain.
He smirks. Fair.
The
Well,
once and future king of the Winter Court.
I'm just hesitant to go back is all. If we could keep it as the last.
I think we are all in agreement about that.
On some level, I do understand.
Thank you.
Same.
That's my 2 cents. The rest is yours.
You'll have plenty of time to think it over while we are slaying a dragon and fighting a phoenix.
Adventure.
I still say we are most ready to deal with the phoenix at this moment.
So we have a vote for Phoenix. Any more votes for Phoenix?
I think perhaps we should stay on this side of the plains and work our way out.
I'm mostly worried about the stability of that, though I guess if you go from the Shadowfell to the Feywild, that's technically less boundary crossing than if we were to go to Shadowfell and back here, then to the Feywild.
That is a good point.
Septimus, has your fork been tested?
Has my what?
Fork been tested?
Your fork, your tuning fork, have you tested it?
She pulls it out.
You have not tested it personally, but your parents used it to travel to the Shadowfell to collect ingredients for nightmares.
100%. I know what I'm doing.
Insight check.
Aaron will nod along and say, "Oh, good, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad we have an expert."
Well, those of you who are more
to come clean now.
That is the dirty 20 on my insight check.
Uh-oh.
Am I countering this? Oh, I think I'm countering it.
Do you want
persuasion
to?
if
Certainly
truth,
try.
deception if lying.
I'm gonna be persuasive. Hold on. Rolling.
While that's happening, people who are more magically inclined, which is a more stable transportation method, the fork or the hole?
The hole at this point, I think, right?
It's hard to say given the state of reality collapsing.
Well, we could always ask
You can roll an
Entry.
Arcana check.
None
Or
of
you
us are
can ask
wizards,
Entry.
so
We have several nerds we can ask.
we do.
I rolled a
can we
natural.
make Levy roll for it?
Yeah, can Levy roll for it?
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
Aaron
She
seems to
seems
believe you
very
wholeheartedly.
self-confident in herself.
I have so much confidence in myself.
Okay. This is what we are tying ourselves to. I see.
Do you have a better idea?
Mir's like, sure.
Maybe we can reopen the portal in our front yard.
I don't think that would be a good idea. But I think my vote is dragon first.
I'm thinking
I
dragon
also
first now myself.
am a little worried about the vampire in the Shadowfell. There is the possibility of him coming up.
More undead.
Yeah, that
Again.
that's pretty pressing in my mind.
I'm more worried about Aaron's fan stalker.
I think they might be sticking to the material plane for now. Though,
Well,
then
we
again,
have-
we don't know how easily that can travel.
Well, that's 3 in favor of the dragon.
I also feel that it might be best to start with the dragon.
4 in favor. Dragon it is. How do
Well,
we
we
get to
need one more
Ultron?
vote for dragon, and then it breaks even.
Oh, all right.
Maths.
Man, democracy sucks.
I think it's Aaron and Hawk who haven't voted yet.
No, Hawk voted dragon.
Septimus
dragon.
hasn't voted, and Lish hasn't voted.
No, Lish voted dragon.
Dragon.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then who did Aaron vote yet?
Aaron has not voted. Aaron has been
Who's the fourth dragon?
sitting here hoping
Uh,
that no one will notice he hasn't voted.
Demir,
Aaron.
Lish, you,
Yeah, who's
Okay.
number 4?
Tobias.
Tobias voted.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was Tobias. Okay.
Aaron, do you have an opinion?
I suppose I lean dragon. That's less immediate plane hopping.
All right, dragon
Oh.
it is.
Dragon
We
it
need to
is.
figure out how to get to Altprin.
So,
And how to deal with a dragon, be it cordially or uncordially.
Depends on if it wants to give up a tooth.
let's see. I would love for. Let's see. I know we're almost done here, but I would love for Hawk and Tobias to make a general intelligence check.
Okay.
All right. That's going to be a straight D20 from me, so I don't have very high expectations.
15.
12.
Okay. You both recall a friend of yours mentioning traveling to Alperin previously. He had mentioned that his party had gone to Alperin in order to ensure that a powerful yet evil artifact would be safely secured within the more religious vault of Alperin. And Aldrich did say that he could teleport you potentially to one of the islands close to Alperin, and then you could hire a ship to get there. Or if you're willing to spend the money, you can rent a sky ship.
You're muted, Avery.
Do we have to rent the whole sky ship, or can we just book passage?
You can book passage.
Okay.
It's probably expensive though.
Out
It
of
is an
character,
overseas flight.
Out of character, just to confirm, the friend that you're talking about, that was Aldrich, the one that him and his okay. Tobias will bring up if it's getting to Alperin, we could ask Aldrich. Him and his party had been there before.
That's a good idea.
He's easy enough to find as well.
He also mentioned that he'd be willing to teleport us to one of the nearby islands, and then we could take a ship the rest of the way.
Not a bad plan.
Is that where the dragon is, though?
Well, it was last seen in Alperin. However many years ago, although I suppose that doesn't...
Will also share the information that he remembers about white dragons and kind of their general habitat and stuff.
So the northern part.
Yeah.
Aaron, your specialties in winter climes will come into use again.
Ah, wondrous.
I'll remember to bring a coat this time.
And that, I think, is where we shall end session for the day.
Yay!
Barely even noticed that you were getting to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Yeah, I did not pay attention to the time at all.
The RP was so good.
It was.
It really was.
I love Septimus so much.
Toby was touching.
Oh my god,
Septimus
it's
had
fun.
girl time with Falk. Demir had emotional growth.
Aaron had an allergic reaction.
Aaron had an allergic reaction.
All right, guys. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for
Thank
running
you.
as
Thanks
always.
for DMing.
Thanks for
And
DMing.
we'll chat about when we can shift things around so that Felix can join us again. But until then, have a great week, you guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Next time.